Hello YouTube, we're back with another video and we're going to be looking at basically what you can do when you hit 75 on the legendary servers. What are the things that you should be aiming for? What gear can you get right away to help set yourself up to do the tier 1 and tier 2 raids? So there's quite a few things actually, which is really nice and a big change from 65. There's lots of options to work with. The first one and the easiest one once you hit 60 or 75 is there's this dwarf dude here, and he will give you 75 raid gear for skirmish marks. However, the problem with this gear is the set bonus could be extremely trash, and it's not the best set bonus. It may be really good, but it's also not good at all, depending on your class. And there's also some situations where the gear doesn't actually have any vitality, and it will have a lot of fate. So just as a quick example, right, like the Runekeeper shoulders has 54 fate or 53 fate, but no vitality on it. So you'll have great main stat no matter what class you're playing, but your vitality will be quite low, so your morale pool in this raid gear will be really low. But it's a good first set to get if the set bonus is even worth it, until you can get the Orthanc set or even just some crafted stuff, because I think even for the most part, depending on the set bonus that you get from the dwarf guy, the crafted stuff is just going to be better overall. All right, so if you don't want that, your other options, if you're a crafter or if you want people to craft stuff for you, is there's the this quartermaster here, and there's also you can get it from these two camps in the Gap of Rohan. This is the Theodred Riders rep, which gives you some decent. Well, there's a couple of jewelry pieces that you can just buy, but they'll be replaced quite quickly. But if you have the money, go for it. Otherwise, there's your medium and light armor set that can be crafted. There's your heavy armor set. There's some jewelry. There's some offhands, right? So this gear is really good in that if the person that's crafting, or if you're crafting yourself, if you fail to crit the recipe, you can just retry and buy the recipe again. It just costs silver, right? So this crafted gear isn't as good as the Stangard gear, which we'll go over, but it's at least easy to make, and it's easy to keep getting the recipes. It's a quick way to gear an alt as well, just as soon as you hit 75. And this gear, this crafted stuff works just fine for dungeons. If you wanted to just spam some 3-mans and 6-man dungeons, that gear works just fine. You could go in with full crafted gear, and you can do all the dungeons at tier 2. The other rep, before we move on to Stangard, is Dunland. However, the Dunland rep does not actually give you anything major, aside from there is a couple of jewelry things that you can get. So there's a couple of decent pieces, but again, they're going to be replaced relatively quickly off of other items where it's crafted stuff or other rep stuff, but it is just a nice quick little option in case you can't get this critted stuff right away. The only other thing to get from this rep aside from amount, if cosmetics and collections interest you, would just be the return skill. Should be in here somewhere. Yeah, return to Galtriv. That's obviously a good skill to get. Good travel skill to get. The rep for Dunland is the easiest rep to get. Honestly, once you just complete, if you do every questing deed in Dunland, you're gonna have the rep done. you'll hit Kindred quite easily. The Theodred's rep, you'll have to complete every single quest in Isendale, Heathfells, the Gravenwood camp, and Isengard area. You'll follow a ranger from here, and you'll help out an Ent. There's a dwarf over here, and then the ranger will meet up here for some dailies as well. You'll have to complete every single quest, and then maybe 2 days of dailies. But it's not too hard to get. I would honestly ignore doing tasks for Dunland and just save your tasks as you're leveling for Theodred's, but even then, I think tasks are even better used for the Great River, which is the next little area that we'll talk about here. So the Great River gives us the Riders of Stangard rep and the Limlight Gorge. The Riders of Stangard rep will give you the best crafted stuff. There's crafted jewelry, crafted offhands, crafted pocket items, crafted armor. It's the best crafted stuff that you can get. However, the problem with it is that it costs these silver tokens. So in order to get these silver tokens, you just need to do all of the quests in the zone, and you're gonna want to do them all because you're just gonna be using a lot of tokens, especially if you're a crafter. The Stangard rep, if you use one of the rep bonuses from the store, so there's the 5,000 enhanced reputation supply times 5. If you buy one of those, you can hit the Stangard rep very easily by completing every single quest. Without the rep bonus, I think you'll need maybe 2 days of dailies. Basically, with the math that I did, with the 25,000 total bonus reputation, I was able to hit rep or Kindred after completing every single quest in every zone up till Rushgore. Brownlands was all extra. So I don't know if there's just enough quests in the Brownlands to hit Kindred without the extra 25,000 boost. I think you'll be about 12 to, well, let's say like 10 to 15k short. So you are going to want to do some dailies for a bit and some tasks. But the other one to use tasks on, which is kind of a little bit more important, is the Limlight Gorge. This rep is, of course, how you get the gear, the jewelry set bonus gear that is really good, and it's essentially going to be your best in slot for your class. You're going to have one earring, one bracelet, and one pocket item, and this will just be the gear that you have for the rest of the expansion. And in order to get it, you're going to want to not only complete if you complete every quest hub, you'll be rewarded, like each little quest or each little city or region will reward you with one of these purple items. You can barter for them with tokens, but it's 10 gold and 20 silver. It's honestly not worth it. Just do all the quests. Save these tokens for actually upgrading the gear, because you'll need to purchase the upgraded purple version from this dude, which you can't get from a quest. You have to upgrade it. So you're upgrading. You get the base pocket item, so to speak, and then you have to purchase the base ring and bracelet, and then you can upgrade the pocket item into the teal version and upgrade the ring and the bracelet that you just purchased into the teal version. So you want to, that's what another reason why you want to do all the quests, is because all the upgrades and stuff can be quite expensive. The eggs here, the unhatched spider eggs, drop from the Roots of Fangorn dungeon, which is just right here by the waterfall. That's where the discovery deed is, right? Roots of Fangorn, very easy dungeon to do. Most cases, you don't even honestly need like a full real healer. If you have a tank that's like super well geared, you can go in without a healer. It is just that easy, and you burn everything down. And the challenge is super easy. Just you can kill the boss fast enough, and you can even ignore the challenge. So I'll be doing a little guide on that at some point soon here in the future. But yeah, that's where you get the egg pieces to get the teal jewelry. You also need the Reputation of Limlight Gorge at Kindred. This one, if I do recommend, if you're not going to use or don't have the LP to purchase the reputation boost for Stangard, definitely use it for Limlight Gorge if you can. It'll just make your life a whole lot easier, where you only need to do essentially like 1 to 2 days of dailies, which is just killing like 4 trolls, 4 spiders, and like 4 trees after completing all the quest line. And then you're just going to spam the tasks, which are just the thick branches and like the heartwood hearts or something like that. If you, with the 25,000 boost, you only have to do 1 to 2 days of dailies with those. If you don't use the boost, then you're gonna have, it's gonna take you like 4 to 5 to 6 days even, depending on how much farming you do with killing the actual enemies. Because you can farm it out and complete it in a day if you wish, with like, you know, get a group of 6, run around the zone and kill all the big enemies, because each troll, each spider, each tree gives you, I think it's 80 rep. So it's not a lot, but it does add up, and you can get it done in a day if you so choose. Then the only other thing that you need to worry about at 75, so you've got your Stangard rep and Stangard crafted gear, you've got your Theodred's crafted gear and rep, you've got your Limlight jewelry, you've spammed Roots of Fangorn. The only other thing that you need to work on, honestly, is getting your necklace, which once you hit 75, there will be 2 quests that appear, actually, and I'll take you to the NPCs because they're right here. So because I've triggered them, they won't appear, but there's 2 NPCs here that'll appear when you hit 75. So right, this is like the central area. That's the stable master. This is the crafting hall right here. So just in this little spot right here outside the vault, there'll be 2 NPCs. You're gonna pick up one quest, or you're gonna want to pick both of them up, but one of the quests will mention like, when you accept this quest, you'll be teleported. Make sure that you have both quests. So just be careful, read the little quest descriptions, make sure that you're picking up both quests before it auto-teleports you, but it'll auto-teleport you to this location. Then there'll be a little quest here from this dude, and he's going to teach you about these Orthanc sigil fragments and this necklace. Basically what happens is the Isengard dungeons will give you an item in the chest that you have to loot, and it's essentially like I don't know what to call it, but we'll call it like a rock. We'll just call it a rock, or some ore, and you bring the ore to, you have to stand near this forge, and then when you right click the rock, you'll break it into the sigil pieces. The quest will teach you how to do it by giving you like a sample one. Like, here's a free piece of ore, go stand by the forge and activate it, and it'll teach you how to do it. But anyways, you spam Isengard dungeons to get these sigils essentially, and then you can upgrade this necklace. So you start with a gray version or a white version, and then you upgrade it, right? You need the worn version to get the I guess the Moonstone necklace, the yellow version, right? But there's different versions for different classes. So there's physical like agility might versions, although I don't think they actually have agility or might. They're all vitality focused, but they'll give you crit or physical mastery. There's tactical ones, which will give you tactical crit and outgoing healing, or just crit and tactical mastery. There's defensive ones that are just more like mitigation or incoming healing focused, depending on what you're needing and depending on your class. So you upgrade it based on tiers. So you take the white version to get the yellow one, you get the yellow one to get the purple one, you use the purple one to get the blue one, and then you use the blue or the teal one to get the gold one, or the legendary version. However, the legendary version requires the repaired cloak clasps, which drop from Saruman in the 12-man raid. So without doing the raid, you can get up to the teal version of whichever necklace you want, and then once you do the raid, then you can start working towards getting the legendary gold version of the necklace. So yeah, that'll be like the best necklace that you can get for your class, essentially. Mastery at this tier is extremely easy to get. The mastery cap at this level cap is 4,500. I am well over that, and I'm in a mix of quest gear, in Theodred's crafted, in raid gear. I'm in a mix and match of things, and I've got more than enough mastery. Once I complete the rest of my stuff, I'll definitely have the crit cap as well, which is also 4,500. So at that point, you're really just focusing on vitality and mitts and stuff. So I think that's kind of why the necklace doesn't have a main stat. It's more secondary stat focused, but it'll be the best necklace that you can get. The only other thing that there needs to be discussed is the cloak for this expansion, which will be the best cloak that you can get. So there's the Dragok raid, the dragon raid. When you kill the dragon, three or maybe 4 scales can drop, and you need 3 of the scales to get a cloak. This is the base version of the cloak that all tailors can craft once they have the reputation from Theodred's Riders. And there's the might version, the will version, there's the agility version, and then there's the tank version. Once you acquire that, and you've acquired more clasps from Saruman, you can then upgrade the cloak into a shimmering version of the cloak. And essentially, it just takes the stats that are on the base version, and it just increases it, right? So we go from 74 vitality all the way up to 114 vitality. That's a lot of morale. So with your cloak and with your necklace, you're going to have a very large health pool, much more than what you're used to, especially compared to what we had at 65. But yeah, that's all. I say that's all. There is a lot, but it's quite simple. So little quick breakdown once again. You've hit 75, you can either get the gear from the dwarf here, which is the Dragok raid gear that you just barter for with skirmishes and with skirmish marks and medallions. You can get the crafted gear from Theodred's Riders, you can get the crafted gear from the Great River Stangard's Riders. There's the Limlight Gorge jewellery set bonus, which is the pocket, ring, and bracelet. You do the tier 2, or you do the 3-man and 6-man dungeons to get the sigils so that you can upgrade your necklace, and then you can start working towards your raid gear. So then there's, right, you go to your trainer, and then you can always barter for the tier 1 jewelry, or the tier 1 raid gear, but I think the stats are better from Stangard. The Stangard reputation, the crafted stuff from Stangard, I think is better stat-wise than the tier 1 stuff. The tier 1 stuff is good if you're looking for the set bonus kind of thing. But again, some of it is really weird where you're going to have a couple pieces that might not have vitality. So if you're looking for that morale pool, the crafted stuff is just better that way. So you can get your tier 1 stuff, and then once you complete the tier 1 raid completely, then you can barter for the better stuff, right? Then you have your Tower of Orthanc tier 1 deed completed in each of the wings. Then you can get the rest of your raid armor. And that's all there is at 75. Very easy to gear alts. All of this stuff is essentially account wide. I believe these are, yeah, right. Even these sigils are account wide, so you can go to a character. Your friends need a tank. You can go to your tank and just, you know, tank dungeons for your friends. But you can then gear up any character you want, right? So it's all account wide stuff. Very alt friendly, and I think that helps sell why Isengard was just one of the best expansions that ever hit LOTRO. That's why it's so well loved. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.